India is in this massive, multi-billion-dollar race to become a global semiconductor superpower. But there's a catch, a huge one actually, a hidden flaw that could stop the whole thing dead in its tracks. Welcome to The Explainer.
Okay, so the Indian government is going all in, pouring billions into becoming a hub for high-tech manufacturing. But the biggest threat to this grand vision, it isn't about the tech, and it's not even about the money. It's about a resource we all take for granted.
All right, so first things first, let's really wrap our heads around just how big this whole thing is. We're not just talking about an investment here. This is a full-on economic pivot.
So, the starting gun really fired back in 2021 with something called the India Semiconductor Mission. The government basically threw this huge pot of money on the table. We're talking a whopping 76,000 crore rupees, all as incentives to get companies building everything from design centers to actual chip factories.
And get this, they're not stopping there. They're already planning this sequel, ISM 2.0, and are talking about doubling down with another $20 billion. The goal is to build momentum and create a semiconductor industry that can really stand on its own 2 feet.
So why are they spending all this cash? Well, it really boils down to two huge things. First, it's about not having to rely on other countries for chips anymore. I mean, a 90% import dependency is staggering. And second, it's about grabbing a slice of a global market that's heading towards $1 trillion. It's a play for security and for prosperity.
Now, this whole semiconductor dream, it's not coming out of nowhere, right? It's actually built on the back of a pretty stunning success story that proved India can compete in high-tech manufacturing. I mean, just look at this. If you rewind to 2014, almost 80% of the phones sold in India were imported. Fast forward about a decade, and bam, it's a total flip. The country becomes a major exporter, shipping out $24 billion worth of phones. That right there is the playbook.
And this is where it gets really powerful. This wasn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. We're talking about 2 million jobs created. That is a massive impact, and it shows the kind of potential for employment that this kind of big industrial push can have.
So they've proved they can do it with phones. That success basically laid the groundwork for the next, much bigger challenge, the incredibly complex and expensive world of making semiconductor. And it's not just talk, you know? Stuff is actually getting built. You've got the big global players like Micron setting up shop, and then you have homegrown giants like Tata making this enormous $11 billion bet on a full-scale chip factory. All in all, 10 major projects have already gotten the green light across 6 different states. Okay, so everything sounds amazing so far, right? Ambition, money, success. But this is where the story takes a sharp and frankly pretty worrying turn. This is where we find that hidden vulnerability.
Think about it. This whole massive plan, all these billions of dollars and incredible factories, it's all resting on one single assumption, that a key ingredient will just always be there. But what if that's a really bad debt?
A UN report recently dropped this term that should honestly give everyone pause: water bankruptcy. And this isn't just about a drought or a shortage. It's the point of no return. It's when the water systems are so damaged they can't realistically recover. And if you look at the UN's global risk map, huge parts of India are colored in the deepest red, meaning they're at the absolute highest risk.
So let's connect the dots here. How does this pretty scary environmental picture crash into India's big tech dream?
Picture this. It's early 2026. Micron opens its new plant in Gujarat. Everyone's celebrating. It's a huge moment, a really tangible sign that India has arrived on the world semiconductor stage. But here's the catch nobody was talking about that day. These amazing high-tech factories, they are incredibly thirsty. A single big factory can guzzle more than 10 million liters of ultra-pure water every single day. That's a mind-boggling amount of water. And this new demand is happening while the existing systems are already, cracking at the seams. While these multi-billion-dollar plants are being planned, people in major tech cities like Bangalore are literally finding sewage coming out of their taps. The foundation is already shaky. And to be clear, this isn't just an India problem. It's happening all over. You look at Oregon, a Google data center drank up a quarter of a whole city's water. In Arizona and Dublin, plans for new tech projects were actually put on hold because there just wasn't enough water or power to go around. It's a global collision course. And this brings us right to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? It's a clash of two massive national priorities: building a technological future on one hand and ensuring basic water security for your people on the other. To really get a sense of this, that
10 million liters a day for just one factory? That's about the same amount of water that 40,000 families in a city would use. You're putting an enormous new competitor for water in places that are already running dry.
So, we're left with this giant, hanging question. India is making this bold, absolutely necessary play for its future. But can you build a digital dream on land that's running out of water? Can a future built on silicon survive a world facing water bankruptcy? That's the hidden flaw, and that's the high-stakes gamble at the very heart of this incredible story.